Worse than that, depression. What if I suffer from depression and one day end my life hanging? I guess diving into the lake might be a good option since I don't know how to swim. But water entering through my nose. Ah. Hey, Grandpa, come here. Now it's your turn.
Coming. Don't teach me, you piece of shit. I've lived more than you are your granddad. I can't stand here. I have to have a peel, otherwise I will not leave. So, thanks for listening.
Okay. Now that I've completed doing my job, I can finally rest. But what if my viewers don't like this video? What if my friends make fun of me because content is so bad? There is a high chance of it happening, right? If that happens, I will have nobody to talk to. Maybe I'll stay broke my whole life. Worse than that, depression. What if I suffer from depression and one day end my life hanging? But that might be painful. And I might suffer bad, right? I guess diving into the lake might be a good option since I don't know how to swim. But water entering through my nose, ah, I might feel intense irritation. No, no, no. It's better to hang myself than drowning till death. Wait a minute. I started to think about dying. Where all of this even started? What was my first topic that turned into dying idea?
I used to think doing this was completely normal until one day I compared it with my childhood days. Back then, there used to be either just peaceful sleep or present moment and a little bit of excitement about future events. But as far as I know, this did not exist. I got to know what it's called about 8 years ago. Overthink King. 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 Yeah, King. I know it happens when you keep thinking about stuff and connect it with something else and keep doing it again and again without being in control. But deep scientific reason, well, I don't know. But as always, let me find out.
I got to know something interesting. According to psychology, what we call overthinking is divided into two categories. Two. The first is rumination. That's when you keep replaying the past. Why did I say that? What if I had done something different? Okay, now it's worry. It's about the future, and my grandpa has lived my future. Not in the literal sense, but I think you understand the point. So it's better to call him and make him explain. Hey, Grandpa, come here. Now it's your turn.
Coming.
Please don't mess this up, okay?
Don't teach me, you piece of shit. I've lived more than you are your granddad. Okay, where was he? Worry. Yeah, worry. Worry. That's when your mind keeps jumping into the future. What if I fail? What if everything goes wrong? And scientists have found that both of these are linked to anxiety and depression. But that still does not answer the question. Why does the brain do this in the first place? Well, the weird reason is your brain does not think it's hurting you. it thinks it's helping you. When you are overthinking, your brain believes it's solving a problem. That's why overthinking feels productive. You're doing something, you're analyzing, you're searching for answers, you're looking for mistakes. But many times, you're not actually solving the problem. You're just replaying it. It's like opening the same book and reading the same page 100 times, hoping the ending changes. Okay, it's time for my peel. I can't say it anymore, I'm sick. So my piece of shit grandson is coming to explain all of this. I can't stand here. I have to have a pill, otherwise I will not live. So thanks for listening. Bye bye. Oh, you piece of shit! Don't make me do this stuff again. I hate this one, especially when I'm sick.
I hope you did well. So now this is where neuroscience gets interesting. Scientists have identified something called the default mode network or DMN. You can think of it as a network in the brain that becomes active when you are not focused on the outside world, when you are daydreaming, thinking about yourself, replaying memories, imagining future scenarios. The DMN is doing a lot of work. In fact, studies have found strong connection between the network and the rumination. So, in a simplified way, you can imagine your brain having two modes. One is action mode. You are studying, working, playing sports, talking to new people, learning. The other one is thinking mode. Your attention turns inward. You start analyzing life, your mistakes, your future. And overthinking can happen when your brain is stuck in the thinking mode for too long. But and then another question comes up. If overthinking causes so many problems, why did evolution allow it in the first place to exist? The answer might be that overthinking is actually a side effect of a useful ability. Imagine an ancient human thousands of years ago, the people who could learn from mistakes, predict dangers, and imagine future threats had a better chance of surviving. If there was predator near the river yesterday, remembering that could actually save life tomorrow. The ability to mentally simulate the future was useful. The problem is that the modern world is very different than that time. Today, your brain can react to an unanswered message or a social interaction or an upcoming exam with some of the same threat detection system that once helped human avoid real physical danger. Your brain evolved to keep you alive, not necessarily to keep you comfortable. And that's where the cycle begins. Something uncertain happens, your brain feels uncomfortable. It starts analyzing. That analysis gives a small feeling of control. So your brain thinks, maybe if I think a little more, I will finally solve this. And then you think more and more and again more until hours pass and nothing has changed. You haven't solved the problem. You have just been running laps inside your own head. There are also specific parts of the brain involved in this process. One of them is amygdala. You can think of it as a part of a brain's alarm system. When something feels threatening, the amygdala helps trigger emotional response. Another important chemical is cortisol, often called the stress hormone. When your brain believes there is a threat, cortisol level can raise. The problem is that the threat does not always have to be real. Sometimes it's just a possibility, a fear, a future scenario that hasn't even happened. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain involved in planning and decision making, is trying to make sense of everything. But when stress becomes intense, making clear decision can become harder. And maybe that's the biggest irony of overthinking. It begins because we want certainty, we want control, we want answers. But the more we chase certainty through endless thinking, the more trapped we can become. The brain thinks it's protecting us. Sometimes it's just keeping us stuck. So maybe the goal isn't to stop thinking. Thinking is the most powerful ability humans have. Maybe the real challenge is knowing when thinking is helping us move forward and when we are simply walking in circles.